When I was a kid, I saw my father was very active in his church, lay leader. He also was very active with the Lions Club, and he was a Mason. And my mother was also very active in the church and the circle of the church, and very active with the Heart Association and her women's club. I went 4 years to prep school during the high school years. Then I went to Randolph-Macon College, and then in the military, and then back out to William & Mary to get my master's. And very shortly thereafter, I joined the company I'm still with, and I joined the Rotary Club, the Work Rotary Club, which, by the way, was a co-sponsor of the Virginia Living Museum with the Junior League of Hampton Roads.
Well, it was a very grassroots effort. It was founded by the Warwick Rotary Club and the Junior League. They got together and saw a need in the community to connect children, particularly children in the city that had no experiences in nature, with the natural environment. So they founded the museum with help from the city of Newport News, and Charles is a member of that original Warwick Rotary Club. And he's very much about helping to support the community of Newport News and Hampton Roads, and particularly children and families. He's been involved, has brought his children and grandchildren, so it's been a family affair, but as a leader, has been president of our board, which is a critical role, and it was in a very difficult time during the recession. He was also a member of several campaigns, one to retire our debt, which was a huge undertaking of the $6 million effort, and that was very successful thanks to his work and other members of that committee. And now is chairing our sustainability and science excellence campaign called Future Ready.
The fact that we get about 250,000 visitors a year. We have about 7,000 family memberships. I think that's incredible. And we actually have organized programs for about 50,000 high school and elementary school students. The Virginia Living Museum is a community organization. One thing I think that demonstrates that is we have about 600 volunteers, and they all come from the community. They come from Gloucester and Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg, and a number of other places. And they contribute hours to the museum that would cost the museum about 9 or 10 employees, and we couldn't afford that without them. So I tell them when I'm congratulating them that they really are the reason we can open the door, and that is the community opening the door, and that's a special thing.
He has really advocated the importance of endowment and sustainability for the museum, that if this is going to be a place that will be around for future generations, we're going to have to build that endowment that's been the missing link. Because we've been very successful in public funding in the past, that's no longer the case. We really had to put a new emphasis on fundraising, and in particular an emphasis on endowment growth, and he was the perfect advocate for that, because he could talk about a lifelong involvement and encourage others to give in that way. Well, Charles, of course, we're really grateful that he has made us a priority at the Virginia Living Museum, but he is very active at his alma mater, Randolph-Macon, and played an incredible role there on the board, has been on the board of the Mariners Museum, so again, very active in the community, and other organizations that play a critical role, particularly for children and families in Newport News. So on behalf of the Virginia Living Museum, it's a pleasure to be able to congratulate Charles for this wonderful award.
I think people find their own path, and through seeing and observation of what they think is a really good choice for them. You'll hear me say one thing you have to be a good person in community service is be passionate about what you're doing. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you can do a job, but you won't do as good a job as if you're passionate. So if you feel a passion about something, then go after it. When I know somebody has given something that may be a little bit more than they should have, but they thought enough of it to make a gift that isn't their lead gift by any stretch of the imagination, but you know a little bit about them, and you know they've really stretched hard to help you out, and that's pretty special.